What's that one secret you will take to your grave? When I was 17, I worked at this small grocery store after school. The owner, Mr. Peterson, was this grumpy old guy who watched everyone like a hawk. He'd follow customers around and made us check our pockets before leaving each shift. I needed the job desperately. My mom was working double shifts at the hospital, and we were barely making rent. Every dollar mattered in our house. One Thursday evening, I was stocking shelves when I heard this commotion at the front. This woman with two little kids was at the register crying quietly. Her card kept getting declined, and she was pulling items out of her cart one by one. First the cereal, then the milk, then the bread. Her kids were asking why they couldn't get the snacks they'd picked out. She kept apologizing to the cashier, saying she thought she had enough money. I watched her put back almost everything except a small bag of rice and some peanut butter. Even that barely went through. She left looking completely defeated, holding her kids' hands as they asked when they could eat real dinner again. After my shift, I clocked out and waited by my car. When Mr. Peterson locked up and drove away, I used my employee key to go back inside. I grabbed everything that woman had put back. Cereal, milk, bread, some fruit, sandwich meat, even those snacks for her kids. I filled 2 bags with groceries, left $40 from my paycheck on the counter, and drove to the apartment complex where I'd seen her car parked. I knocked on her door and told her the store had a policy about returning declined purchases to customers within 24 hours. Complete lie, but she was too grateful to question it. The next week, I did it again for a different family. Then again for an elderly man who couldn't afford his heart medication and groceries in the same month. I kept using my key after hours, taking food for people who needed it, always leaving money to cover what I took, sometimes my entire paycheck. I'd eat ramen for weeks just to make sure those families had real meals. This went on for 8 months. I helped maybe 15 different families, always anonymous, always after hours. I told myself I was Robin Hood, stealing from a rich store owner to feed poor families. But here's the thing I never told anyone. Mr. Peterson knew. I found out on my last day before graduating. He called me into his office and handed me an envelope. Inside was every dollar I'd ever left on that counter. 8 months worth of my paychecks, plus interest. You think I don't check my security cameras? He said, but he wasn't angry. I've been watching you help those families since day one. He told me he'd grown up poor himself, knew what it felt like to go hungry. He'd been doing the same thing for years, just more quietly. The store made enough profit that he could afford to help people, but he liked my approach better. You put your own money down first, he said. That tells me what kind of man you are. He'd been matching every dollar I spent, doubling the help those families received. He'd also been quietly paying their utility bills and making sure their kids had school supplies. The envelope contained a letter of recommendation for college and a check for my first semester tuition. Mr. Peterson made me promise never to tell anyone, especially not the families we helped. He said dignity was more important than gratitude. I kept that promise for 30 years until he passed away last month. His will left the store to his nephew, who immediately fired half the staff and raised all the prices. At the funeral, 12 different people came up to me, families I'd helped decades ago. They'd all figured out eventually that Mr. Peterson was behind their mysterious good fortune, but none of them ever knew about the teenager who started it all, leaving his grocery money on a counter at midnight just trying to make sure other kids didn't go to bed hungry.